Now let's jump into Nikola Jokic is putting up a playoff run for the ages. It's not the playoff run of the 2000 Los Angeles Lakers where they went 15-1. It's not that. So let's pump our brakes on that. Let's pull. Let that be clear. It is an impressive run, but that's probably the most impressive run we've seen, right, by a big man who's dominated a playoff run, playoff run.
Maybe
So
Hakeem 95, but yeah, close to it.
They didn't go 15-1.
They did not. That's true.
They didn't go 15-1. But there is a concern I got between Hakeem and Shaq. But let's go through this list. This list is I comprised a list of the top 10 centers of all time. And you guys can argue with me. You can disagree with me. You guys can call in the show. You can tweet me at _voice of the fans, at _voice of the fans when you hear this list. Cleavon and I are eager to hear your response. But number one, all-time center. Do you want to go 10-1 or you want to go 1-10? Which way you want to go?
10-1, please.
10-1. Number 10. Number 10, Mr. Bob McAdoo. Mr. Bob McAdoo has won in his career. He has an MVP, 2 championships, 2 all-time NBA selection, 5 All-Stars. Bob McAdoo's number 10. Number 9 on my list. Number 9, this guy can actually be number 8. In fact, right now, I'm moving him to number 8 right now. I'm moving this guy to number 8. So number 9 on my list is Patrick Ewing. 1 MVP, 7 all-time NBA appearances, 11-time All-Star, 3 all-time or 3 all-defensive team selections. My number 8, Moses Malone. 3 MVPs, 8-time all NBA teams, 12-time All-Star, 2 all-defense team NBA, and 1 NBA Finals MVP. That moves him above Ewing in my estimation. David Robinson, number 7. 1 MVP, 7 all-time NBA teams, 11-time All-Star, 3 all-time defensive team members. Any arguments right there? I gave you McAdoo, Ewing, Moses, and David Robinson. Any arguments right there? Anything you want to clear up right there?
We'll have to see how the rest of your list goes, Cam. But so far that order is in succession.
So I gave you number 10, number 9, number 7, or number 8, number 7. Number 6 on my list is Wilt Chamberlain. Number 6. He has 2 rings, 1 Finals MVP, 4-time MVP of the league, 7-time All-Star, 13 All-Star selections, 2 all-defensive team selections, 2 all-defensive player of the year selections, and 2-time all-defensive team, first team member. That's number 7 on my list.
You said 6, but continue.
That's number 6. Number 5 right now. We're being this is projection. This has to do with projections because where we are right now today. I've elevated Nikola Jokic to this list. Number 5. Presuming they'll win 1 game over the next it's game 4, game 5 comes when they win 1 of the next 3 games, 2 games. He will have 1 ring. He'll without a doubt win the Finals MVP. He already has 2 MVPs, 3-time all-time NBA team, 4-time All-Star. Number 4. And I have a problem I'm really struggling with number 4 and number 3, but number 4 at this moment is Hakeem Olajuwon. 2 rings, 1 MVP, 1 Finals MVP, 6-time NBA, 6-time All-NBA team, 12-time All-Star, 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, 5-time All-Defensive team. Really struggling because I really feel he should be ahead of this guy, my number 3 guy. But the number 3 guy was just Shaq was just so dominant. When Shaq in that 3-year period, it was more dominant than I personally have ever seen any player be. And it's that 2000, 2001, 2002 was just more dominant than anybody I've ever seen. I typically want to go, what do you do on both sides of the ball? But what Shaq did offensively was just ridiculous. And he was a three-time all defensive team. Though it was the second team, he did have all defensive recognition, 2-time all defensive player of the year, 15-time all-star, 8-time all MVP, all NBA team, 1 MVP, 3 finals MVPs, and 4 rings, as we know. So I can argue a king, but just again, Shaq was just the most, that 3-year span was more dominant. I didn't say best, just more dominant than any player I've seen. Number 2, Bill Russell, 11 rings, 5 MVPs, 6 all NBA teams, 11-time All-Star. And then number 1 is the Cap, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 6 rings, 2 finals MVPs, 6 MVPs, 10-time all NBA team, 19 All-Star appearances, 5-time all defensive team selection. Cleavon, what problem do you have with my list?
Ken, it's not a bad list. It's not a bad list. I would only make 2 moves. I would move Wilt from the 6 to the 3, and I'd move Joker from the 5 to the 7.
You put Joker behind David Robinson?
Yes.
Again, this is projecting. Robinson's career is obviously done. Joker has a lot more to go. Robinson ran the floor better. That's about what he did better than Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, and I think you also, failed to mention that he did win Defensive Player of the Year. So that was one of the things you didn't mention. So
Robinson, yeah, I didn't have that. Again, like I say, he ran the floor better. That's, I think is about the only thing he did better than Nikola. He's just ran the floor better. That's his body type.
He certainly plays better defense. He certainly is quicker in the paint. So those things he does better than Joker. Joker passes better, a little bit more range. But David was good at 25 feet. So
the Shaq, how do you feel about Shaq and Akeem? Like Akeem, and so a lot of these players didn't get a chance to go head to head, and Akeem dominated Shaq, though it was early. He dominated Shaq. He swept Shaq's team, essentially. He swept Shaq out the playoffs. Once he swept him out the playoffs. Shaq admitted he was scared to death when he saw Akeem. So the head-to-head matchup obviously went to Akeem, and none of these other players went head-to-head.